Welcome to a special edition of I Talk, You Listen. I'm joined today by someone I would consider a good friend of mine. Um, he's a very extraordinarily different kind of person when it comes to the gallery business, when it comes to the art business, and when it comes to expression of sorts. My guy, Boris Anwar.
How are you?
I'm well. I don't usually shake hands when I do this, but since you're my guy, I'll allow such to happen. So today, this is a special edition of what I do. This is a special edition of what I do. One, because I normally wouldn't sit down with someone that I am like good friends with because it's a bias. But with you, I'm feeling like we can do this and there'll be no bias to it. But I feel like we have enough open conversation to be able to have dialogue that isn't biased. I'm not gonna protect you, just so we know that.
Go for it.
So we're good.
Go for it.
So we're good. And we're also joined by Lump. Can't forget Lump, the great Lump. So let's just start out with some things about you. Obviously, we're sitting here right now in a gallery that you run. You're someone who is actually gaining a lot of steam in Orlando as a pretty dope curator here, but you're also dealing with some different aspects of perception of who Boris Garbe is. Is that accurate?
Of course.
Of course. So what is it about Boris Garbe that you think people are getting wrong? Like, what is it about it? I mean, I could name off some things that I think people perceive you as, if you would like to start there.
Sure.
Well, I think people see you as somebody who says what needs to be said to get what you need. I think people might view you in that way. So then people might not think that you're always being 100% genuine with them. People might have a view of you where they don't always think you're being authentic, where you might be upset but you're acting nice, or you might be very nervous in this way but you're acting very brash. These are things that people might perceive, or things that people may be trafficking in when it comes to the name Boris Garbe.
No, I think you're right, because I've had several lives. I was a teacher, I was a realtor, and now I'm this. And I'm an introvert. I'm relatively shy. When you and I have personal interactions, I think, I'm a different person. I'm trying to be right now who I really am. Not the person that wears jackets and is giving, tours about the art world, or is talking with celebrities on my show with Marla E. But yeah, I can see where somebody who knows me from the past looks at this guy and says, I don't know that guy.
What you're talking about sounds to me like progression. And I was this, I moved on and I've done that, and then I moved on from that, now I'm doing this, and someone might not recognize that guy with this new guy. I don't think that the guy that's wearing the jackets isn't you. I think that is you.
It's an extension of me.
Exactly. Well,
Okay.
We're all multiple people.
Okay.
Right? So I don't think but that's not what I'm talking about.
Then you need
I'm talking about when people feel like you're not being genuine with them. Well, you really don't like this person, but you're smiling in that person's face.
I mean, this is tough, because I think I am a people pleaser, and I try for people to like me.
Right.
But I think in the process, I'm probably losing a lot of people. Maybe this is what you're trying to get at, that, like, I was talking with a former intern of mine, and I asked her how she felt, how I went about being a gallerist, for example. She said that I played it safe, that I do not invite controversy, that I try to keep everything nice and calm, status quo. And I think she's right,
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that there's anything wrong. You're running a business.
Right.
I'm not saying ruffle feathers.
Right.
I'm saying you want to be respected.
Yes.
And I'm asking you, do you feel like you're doing yourself an injustice in these scenarios where you're relinquishing some of who you are for business?
Am I authentic? Am I the guy that talks to you when I am out there talking to the crowds or on TV? Kind of an interview is the sound word. Yeah, but I mean, yes, I'm not always authentic if that's what
No,
you're...
I feel like you are authentic. Again, I find myself defending you a lot. Anywhere I go, if anyone ever had something, not bad, no one would say anything bad about you to me, right? But if I could tell that they're kind of questioning, well, Boris. And I have to say, well, no, Boris is one of the realest people I know. He's one of the most open people I know. He's one of the most dependable people I know. I'm not sure that people are getting those qualities. Do you understand what I'm saying? The qualities of a man that I know, which is why I have very few friends and I say, this is my friend. I'm not sure everyone is getting those qualities.
And that is a problem I have. I have ruffled feathers, and there are people that I thought I was very close with that are not in my life anymore. And I'm as confused probably as they are as to why it didn't work out.
Right.
And if you are maybe gently guiding me into coming to the realization that maybe I wasn't genuine with them, and the one thing that I have to say, when people hurt my feelings, I take it in. I'm very guarded about that, and I put that smile on, okay, but deep down I'm hurting. And a problem I've had all my life is that I don't tell people, whoa, you just crossed the line there.
Exactly.
This is completely unacceptable, and I kind of...
Right, and see, that's what I'm talking about. Because I know from conversations that sometimes people hurt you. And when I tell you, you need to let them know that. You say, yeah, but you don't want to be confrontational. But internally, you'll say, yeah, that's a fucking asshole.
That's a fucking asshole. And
yeah.
And I think one of the reasons I accepted this challenge of being, first of all, it's a great honor to be interviewed by you because you're one of the most genuine people I know. And I knew you weren't going to be easy on me. And I'm also right now, I'm very raw because of circumstances in my life. But, one of the things that I think is happening to me is that I'm changing. And I'm changing from the moment you first met me to now. I'm not the same. Yeah.
Completely different.
Right?
Completely different.
Yeah.
And I think that you're more comfortable and confident. When I met you, you worried about what people saw.
Well,
anything that they thought.
I still worry about that.
I don't think you worry about it the same way. I think you're selective in your worry now. I don't think that you let every aspect of what people say or do get to you anymore.
There's the guy that's filming this interview, which is my friend and filmmaker, Marvin Welch. And this poor guy, I have him totally terrorized because he's not supposed to film the back of my head so that people don't know I have a big old bald spot. And he's not supposed to get close to my eye so that people don't know that I wear a contact because I have a bad eye. Don't get too close to the wrinkles. That part bothers me, that I can't allow myself to face the fact that I'm aging, for example.
Right. Well, we all have insecurities, right? I think that you are in a unique position because you are offering everyone an opportunity at the behest even of your own progress. Almost selfless, but at the same time, you're yearning for a level of inclusion. So how do you juxtapose those positions? Now, you didn't want any softballs.
No.
You wanted the high heat.
I think deep down, I want my parents to be proud of me. I want my close friends to be proud of me, and there's this part of me that I want people like you to be proud of me, and I think that's obviously I'm a very insecure person, you know. I mean, I've always admitted it,
Right.
and
All people are insecure, just for the record.
okay, and I learned in therapy that the only people who get better are the ones that know that there's something wrong, and I have always called myself out. I mean, you got to give me that, right?
No, oh, absolutely. What I'm saying to you, and this is an interesting kind of dialogue we're having here. What I'm saying to you is that the person I know is all of those things. And I'm not sure that you're showing everybody that person because they couldn't question it. The person I know says, well, I really don't know anything about music. The person I know says, I don't know anything about movies.
The person you know
The person
says,
I know says,
I don't know anything about art.
documentaries. I'm doing something different here. I'm, throwing shit at the wall. Let's see what sticks.
You know what's happening in this gallery? I've admitted I don't know much about art, and I'm bringing in people like our friend Kyle Eagle and Patrick Reed, and I'm letting them do it, and I am the host.
Right.
I'm creating a stage for these amazing people to have amazing shows. I have a family, Marvin Welch, you, Kyle Eagle, Chris Fio. It's my community, and we get to do amazing things here.
Absolutely. And I would say that you're selling yourself short a little bit. You do have a view of art. You have a very nuanced way of presenting art. You explained something to me about a piece of art that was on a wall in a matter of moments that gave me a completely different vibration with that piece of art. And I've been to galleries across the country and internationally, and haven't had someone be able to speak art to me in a way that without some advanced knowledge I could understand. So I wouldn't sell myself short if I was you, but again, this is something I find you do a lot. You want the credit, but you don't want to take the credit. But you're such a strong individual. You've overcome so much. People never thought that you would be as good at what you do as that you are.
Nobody thought I was going to be able to pull this off.
Nobody.
And
this is just one of many feats in your life that you've accomplished. And someone might be able to look at it and say, oh, well, what? But most of those people haven't accomplished anything. Most of those people haven't had trials and had to overcome things the way that you have. People, when we first began to speak about this, people weren't thinking of you as a serious curator.
Well, you know what happened? I'm not even calling myself a curator anymore because people approached me and said, I'm not a curator. You don't have the education. You didn't go to school for it. The only thing you can call yourself is a gallerist. And I took it. Okay, I'm a gallerist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What do you mean you're taking it? Who are they?
But in a way, they're right, because people do go to school to be a curator, you know?
Right, okay. People go to school to be agents. People go to school to be management professionals. People go to school to be a whole lot of stuff. So am I less a physicist because I didn't get the degree, but we know the same things? Or we can present the same kind of... You're an individual who needs to grab the reins and take strength positions.
I've gotten better, right?
Much better. Through a lot of dialogue and counseling. But I feel like you need to grab it. What do you think?
I think you're right. And one of the reasons I wanted to do this with you is because I knew you weren't gonna make it easy. And I think when you say people sometimes don't perceive me as genuine, I'm being as genuine as I can right now. I am letting it all hang out. Here it is. This is who I am, you know?
Right. And again, I don't want you to fixate on words. people and genuine. No, I want you to fixate on you. And what do you think you're doing? It's not about what people see you as much as why someone might see you as that way. What do you think that you're doing that is leading the charge? What do you think that you've done over the last year and a half that has changed people's perception of you?
Well, first of all, Marla E. and I have kind of expanded our focus. You know, we weren't just doing Kiss My Art. Now we are working with several charities, you know, the Second Chance Wildlife Sanctuary, the Zebra Coalition. I'm now doing with you the Global Peace Film Festival.
Right.
I'm kind of moving behind the scene now. I'm producing stuff. Marla is producing stuff. I think maybe my dance in front of the audience wasn't meant to be, you know?
No, I thought that you were doing an amazing job before I ever met you. I thought when I saw you doing the shows, I said, man, I want to meet this guy. He looked 100% the part. And I told you that when we met the first time, like I was trying to meet you, but you were like going, you know, like you're on it. You're definitely built for that. We've had this conversation. I've told you from the first conversation we had, if people got to know you, actually know you, then you were a star. Are you letting people know you?
Not the way you know me. Not the way Marvin knows me. Not the way Kyle knows me.
Not the way that people who would do anything for you know you?
Well, that's rough.
Like, the people that you named are people that I know will do whatever they can for you. So the people that
isn't
you're
that what family? Isn't that family?
What I'm saying is the people you're letting in,
Right.
who get to know you, will do things for you.
Right.
And I'm saying to you since day one, you gotta let people know you.
And you know, it's interesting because I'm not hiding anything anymore. I used to be embarrassed about being gay or being in recovery or being a foreigner and having a strange name. And I use all of those things now as tools, I think. So so this has become a therapy session. So I'm not quite sure what kind of an interview this is, but you know,
I'm trying to get out of you who Boris is, who Boris is giving to the world, and what Boris has done, good or bad, that is shaping who Boris has become. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who are you? And then we're getting at that. And then what are you giving people? Why do they perceive you in a certain way? Why do some people love you and some people... That's a very wide spectrum.
Can I ask you that question? Because some people must really love you and some people,
Well, people who love me because I'm honest and direct. People who hate me hate me
for the
because
same reason. You're
I'm honest and direct. Mm-hmm. I'm very clear on that. Mm-hmm. I always tell people I'm an acquired taste.
I do that too. I do.
That's not for everyone. I understand that. I don't know if you're falling into that category.
No, I'm not. I play. Listen, I've played straight for almost 28 years of my life.
Do you enjoy to play though?
Well, once I got to be officially gay, it was kind of a huge relief. And then once I was able to talk about the fact that I'm an alcoholic in recovery, that was a huge relief too. And I've always been honest from the get-go that I'm no expert in art. I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm no expert in podcast or anything. I've been honest about that, you know? So it's not like I'm pretending to be an expert. But what I'm not is an outgoing individual. And for me, even this right now, because this has been the most honest and real interview I have ever done, ever in my entire career.
Well, I appreciate you doing that with me.
And you know, I'm also emotional because of other things. I think if what you're trying to get me to say is, am I real with people? Have I been brutally honest with people? Have I let them in like I let some people in? No. and I don't know why.
And no one would do that. In fairness, no one would let everybody. I'm an open book. I will answer any questions, but I don't befriend people. Right? That's just me. So I'm not saying you should open up to every individual. I have been an advocate of yours and an advocate of you being the Boris I know. The Boris I know is a fiery guy. Like, we've had conversations and it was like, this, I can't let go of a grudge. I want.
Oh, I am a bitter motherfucker sometimes, you know.
I don't even know if you're bitter as much as you're like a more, a stronger individual than it plays. Some people see you as more docile, you know. It's like you're not holding positions. You yield ground.
Do you think I'm yielding ground now?
Not necessarily, because I don't think that you're, as much as the conversation is uncomfortable at times, you're not uncomfortable with me and not threatened.
I'm not uncomfortable with you, but this is brutal what's happening right here, you know. And
Well, we knew that going in.
We knew that going in.
We knew that going in.
This is
And we'll get to, you know, what I perceive is, you know, your greatness. But first we have to tunnel through to figure out, why am I a person that sees it? Kyle Eagle is someone who sees it, and Patrick is growing to see it, and Marvin is seeing it. And there's a lot of people, like you've expanded your circle since I met you.
Yes. That's true.
Considerably.
Yes.
And where you sit at these tables is different now. You
And
used to be someone that came to this, hey, come on, Boris, you can sit here. And now you're someone who pulls up the chair and says, Boris sits here.
And
I think that's strong.
And I'm somebody who brings people with me.
Always. 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 I champion your name in all conversations based on that alone. You are someone who, if they're in your circle, then you're pulling them up with you. Those are qualities that other people don't have. But again, we get back to, why aren't other people? Do you think that people are jealous?
No, but I know.
Are you being honest?
No, I'm about to say something that makes me very uncomfortable. I do know that there are a lot of people in Orlando that don't like me, and I've wondered what that is. I mean, and maybe it's what you said. Maybe they don't think I'm genuine. Maybe they don't think I'm. But I never understood that, because I'm so open about everything else. It's like, I'm not hiding anything.
Right.
But maybe they just don't like me. I mean, I don't know.
No. People don't just not like someone for no reason. I think that you were here and you've risen, and on the way up, people who are at a higher level than you, who are used to looking down on you, at some point on the ascension have to look eye to eye with you, and then have to look up at you. And I know that's gotta feel good in some ways, but also feel a bit empty in some ways, because you admire some of these people.
I do admire many of them. You know, the gallery just got nominated for Best Gallery of the Year, and I that's a proud accomplishment of mine, because I took a lobby in a luxury apartment that showed art, and I know nobody thought I was going to be able to pull this off.
Right.
And we're now a veritable gallery. And one of the things, all of the people that got nominated, I know most of them, Patrick and Holly Kahn, Barbara Hartley, Cat Quest. I mean, the people who won, I am so happy for them. I think an older Boris would have been like, how come I didn't make 1, 2, or 3? When I was at the event, that guy wanted to come out, but I didn't let him and he didn't have that much power over me. I genuinely was happy that I knew the people that won, that I was friends with them, and when I saw them, I gave them hugs and kisses, and I said, good for you.
And I think that, if I'm being fair, I think the fact that they put your name in it
Yeah.
was a win all in itself.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have to pinch myself. Is this really happening?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you've come a long way.
Yeah.
Even since I met you 2 years ago.
But can I say something? And this is not ass kissing and stuff, but I have to say that when my association with you started, it also started the next step in my career. I mean,
Right.
you helped me move up.
Well, I think that my association with you, I'm not someone that people could look down on.
I agree.
So if we're in a room together, and we've been in rooms together, and I've always told you, there's really nothing to worry about, because I can handle this. Like, it's not a thing. And I think that you've been in positions with people where you didn't have people that supported you in that way. Like, I think people like the fact that you would do for them without them needing to do anything for you. A lot of one-sided relationships.
Right.
And now I think that because you are less, in my opinion, because you're less in tune with the noise, you're more strong in your position, and you're garnering good relationships through that.
I think what I want to say that makes a lot of sense to me, I'm working with Chris Fiona, who's I think almost 25 years younger than me. And this is the first time I've worked with somebody that could be my son.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
And I'm kind of a parental figure. And I've kind of been watching myself, how I talk to him, and what I'm trying to teach him. Because the one thing I'm trying to make sure doesn't happen to him is what happened to me. That I doubted myself, that I hid behind fakeness, and that I didn't let people in. And maybe that's what this is about.
Yeah. Well, if you feel it, again, I don't have that experience with you.
No, but you didn't. When
right.
It was different.
It was very different. It was very different.
I mean, the crazy thing about me is I have a wonderful father and a wonderful mother. You've met them. They're lovely
yes.
people,
Yeah, great. Your parents are great.
My parents are fantastic.
Your parents are great, and they're proud of you. I've seen it, man. I've seen you, I've seen you rise. I see you continue to rise. And I've seen you get more and more comfortable being Boris.
That's a Netflix show, Being Boris.
Being Boris, right. No, that's actually, I'll actually take all of the proceeds. So, before we get out of
Yes.
here, I just want to ask you a couple of simpler questions. What is exciting you right now?
This is exciting. And I wanted to do this because I think I'm so ready for talks like this in my life. We had dinner the other night.
Right.
And I just remember I said to you, I'm the kind of person that if I see a weakness in the conversation, I will take over. And I know that you have never allowed me to do that. And when you invited me to be on your show, I said, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to talk to somebody who's not going to let me take over.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm
that
happy that
wasn't
I'm
an
at that
option.
point. Well,
Right.
no option. But that's exciting to me. I mean,
Right.
coming out of the shell or whatever, that's exciting to me.
Right. And I know that we suffered from some of the same battles with depression and things of sort, right? I've never been someone who turned to any pharmaceutical help for it.
Well, let's be honest. I didn't either. I mean, I never abused drugs. I'm an alcoholic and I drink beer. But I think you're talking about antidepressants, right?
Antidepressants,
and which
right.
I do take, yes.
Right. And I think that, and we've had this conversation, I think that each person is going to maneuver differently and need different things.
Right.
So I don't push for people not to do things. That's never been my goal. But I know that you have been open about depression. I know that you've been open about, having certain questions about if you can do it, confidence. Even though you're super confident, you get into situations where you don't believe that.
No.
You don't believe you're confident?
No.
I would say you were confident.
You know that I pick people to be close to me who are, because I observe you guys like a motherfucker.
Right,
I've
but
picked so much from you, from Kyle, from Chris.
You think people are confident innately, or do you think that's learned behavior?
It might be learned behavior, but I
And
think
if
it's a
I'm
combination of both, actually. You would have to agree with that, right?
No, I think that it's all learned behavior. You can take someone who, let's just take for example, Mike Tyson. He was a ferocious fighter. He get in the ring, he can knock anybody out. And then someone knocked him out, and now the confidence is not the same. It's not innate. It comes through being able to do something continuously and have good results. That's how you build confidence. It's not something you just walk around with. I believe that you're getting more. You're
I was just
a
about
much
to
more
say,
confident person.
within a year and a half, 2 years that we've known each other, I'm not that guy you met back there,
Right.
who was like looking, the way you and I met, which I don't want to get into it, but the way you and I met, which I've not yet forgiven myself for, by the way.
I forgave you when it happened.
But it still hurts me to even think of how you and I met, but okay, and I probably will forgive myself too. And yet, I'm not that same guy,
No,
Not
not at all. You're a much different person. Much different person. You're out here like moving and shaking now. You feel like you belong. Does it feel like that way to you?
Yes, that I will admit. I'm belonging. I'm not quite sure where on this table, the Orlando art scene, where exactly, but I'm part of it. I know that for
Exactly.
sure. I am a part of this.
Exactly.
And I think like you in the music industry, you've had several not jobs. What is it? I'm trying. You've been producer, musician. You found what you were good at.
I've worn many hats.
Right. That's
yes.
what I mean. Yes.
Yes. And I think that, I think the world of you and what you do. I think that you're a great human, more than anything. I think that you let bad humans tell you how you're not that great. And we've had this conversation
Yes.
before. And certain people you still take up for after they, I don't think that they've treated you properly. And you'll still go to bat for them. That's just like a good human being, right?
Right.
I guess I'm not that great of a human being, and that's fine.
You are.
But I know that you're dealing with some other things right now, so we'll bring this to a close.
Okay.
I want to know what you see yourself doing in the next year.
I love producing. Marla and I are both producing shows. Marla is producing a show called Lunch with Harold. She was so nervous about this, the 96-year-old
Right.
artist. He wants to have a show like this where he told Marla and I want to have a show where I can curse and talk to stuff that's not just art. So Marla made that happen.
Wow.
And she found financial backing. She found a place where to film it. Marvin is filming it. She put all of this together. Kyle Eagle and I are producing the show for Chris for you. You interviewed
Right.
Chris. And I love it. I think that's where my strength is, creating this star and making sure he doesn't trip the way I trip, you know. And
So you're living vicariously
probably.
through, and I think it's really dope. I like where you're at, man. I like where you're at. I like where you're going.
Thank you.
Friend of mine.
So let me ask you before we go. This was rough. What do you think of me now as a human being?
Well, I'll start by saying it's my show,
Right.
and I ask the questions, but because you're a friend
See,
of mine,
I'm taking over.
because you're a friend of mine, I think that you have a lot more growing that you can do.
Yes. Oh, hello. Yeah.
I think that you've come leaps and bounds further than anyone would have expected. And I think you've done it in a short period of time. And I think you've done it because you are authentic.
Thank you.
And I think that the more that that person shows up, you'll continue to see the success you're seeing.
Thank you.
And that, my friends, is what we call a special edition of I Talk, You Listen. For me, Anwar, aka Superstar, aka Super Duper, my guy, Boris Garbe, and the great Lump, we thank you for tuning in. And until next time, be cautious with your time.